Welcome to the DMF. I'm Justin Younts. This is part two. Now, you guys did the scoring process in Air Studios, right? That's
Just for the choir.
just for the choir.
Yeah, so we flew out to London to record there. That was maybe one of the best experiences I think we've
Yeah.
had recording. It was very, very special and cool. But yeah, it was just a small choir. And so everything had already been written. So it's just about going in there, getting rid of our MIDI choir, any of our temp choir, making it sound more human. Other than that, everything was done here.
Here.
Yeah.
Tiny room.
How did you guys go about choosing like the themes for the characters? Like, how did that process go? And was that something that you could really only before you got hired? Were you because you did the first episode and that was kind of like your test, and I was like, yeah, you guys are hired. But were you privied at that point of kind of where the story was going so that you could know?
Yeah, Madsen gave us we had access to everything.
Okay.
We're very close with Madsen, so we were able to get in from that side. But so when we started doing character work early on, like pretty much around when we were scoring the first episode, we knew where all the characters were going. So we had a very clear picture of their arc, which helped a lot.
Right. Okay. All right. So I think now we're going to get into spoilers here. So it's going to be hard to talk about the music without talking about spoilers. So let's
do it.
Doing spoilers now. So click off. You don't want to hear anymore. I love the idea in this story, that we find out at the end that Aiko is really Malcolm Lee's mother, and that the Oracle sends back his mother to save him. I just thought that was such a great twist. It didn't come out of nowhere. You can tell they protected the twist, when they're on the bridge, he never sees her. Was that something that you got when you guys, did that influence you guys when you guys knew that that was kind of where it was going? Or is that something you guys found later?
I think it influenced us a little bit. The two themes for, I guess, like Malcolm's theme and Aiko's theme do have some similarities. And I think that was intentional. We never wanted it to be blatant, but I think having just like it's a little bit similar. Like, you hear his stuff and then you hear hers, but hers is in the future and dressed completely differently. But yeah, there was some similarities between the two, and I think we knew it was going to happen, so we started thinking about that in the beginning.
And then there was a really small like vocal line, a female vocal line over, God, I forget which episode it is. I think it's when Malcolm's talking about his origin story, and during the birth moment we have this vocal sample come in. Then again we have it come in when he's talking to Aiko in episode 8, as all this action's coming around, and then we have it again as can I do big spoilers? Can I just jump ahead when Malcolm is dying? We have this vocal line that's kind of threaded through, and it's subtle, but it's like we were very aware of when to thread it in.
Was that something when you guys were looking at the script where like you were like, oh wow, this is really interesting where they're going with this?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty fun. And there were other characters too that like really, but like those are spoils for other seasons, so I can't really.
Yeah, don't talk.
A lot of the kids they're just starting their arc,
Yeah.
But it was really helpful knowing the clear picture of everything, so that we could really create themes that would last.
The theme that I feel like kind of defines the show is it will never be the same. That's kind of like we keep hearing that, and that kind of is that you guys talked about how you wanted to play it. If you can play it simply, I'm paraphrasing exactly what you guys said in the interview, but you said play it simply or sing it simply. Like, just so that's something you just came up with on the piano or something. and then just were like, we'll just build on that.
Yeah, well, it took time to figure out how. I mean, so that was an early demo. So that was like
Oh,
It'll Never Be the Same was from the demos way
yeah.
back when. So that was probably the biggest one that stuck.
And
And
Run.
and Run, yeah, the opening sequence of episode 1.
Mm.
But Madsen kept being like, if I had it my way, It'll Never Be the Same would be the theme of the show. And we were just like, but it's not like it's really sad. It's like everything about it feels like you're just kind of like falling back. And we were struggling to find a way to create a theme for that ending of episode 1. We had like so many different ideas. It was that week was horrible. And then uh, we were toward the end of it, and again having that just ring in our head that Madsen was just like, if this could just be it. We took It'll Never Be the Same, put the chords on guitar, and I feel like it's a good songwriting trick. Anytime I get stuck with songs, or you get too caught up with production, it's like, can you play it on guitar and sing it, and does it hold up? And if it doesn't, then maybe you got too many tricks going, and you're relying on production too much. Like, is it solid or not? So instead of playing it on piano, I just started palm muting the chords, and then we just started singing, and naturally we sang it in a different way. It's like it's very similar melody lines, but it's swung in a more anthemic, driving way. It's less sad, uh, and then that just like opened it up. We're like, oh right, you can just play It'll Never Be the Same like this, and then it feels like it has more agency, and it feels like a theme.
Because it kind of comes back in The End of the World and Underground. Those are the two times where I like really noticed
Yeah.
that being replayed.
Yeah.
And it's laced throughout as well. But like
Yeah.
those are the most distinctive moments, specifically End of the World. That's like when we were like, okay, now let's play it as sad as we can play it.
Yeah.
As depressing as possible.
Yeah.
Ooh,
But
cool.
that's an example of just like, it was completely low-hanging fruit for so long, but it took us a while to see it. And then as soon
Yeah.
as you see it, it just everything unlocks.
Because with Run, which is, I believe that's the first song we hear, that when she's trying to get away from the Terminator, and it's kind of gets us all going. Like right into it, you got that little distorted voice that comes in. Was that the voice you guys are talking about with the it almost signifies that the Terminator is coming. Is that kind of what you guys were doing with that theme?
Yeah, and specifically with the beginning of Run, we wanted to take acoustic instruments and distort them to hell. So I think a big one of that was violin samples, and make them sound robotic. And we kind of like made them into like a scary melody line. And it wasn't. I think the piece of Run that we wrote to the demo, like was the demo, was once things pick up. Once you get the 4 on the floor action part, we had written that as a demo. So it was about like, we had that piece, but then we had to kind of build it a bit, because it was like
And the scene was super long.
5 or 6 minute scene.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
a lot more to do.
Yeah, because you talked in previous interviews that you didn't want the Terminator to have like its own theme. You just kind of wanted like a sound cue for when he's coming.
And I think for that, it was like this like 2-note bass line, like duh duh, was one of the. There's a few different signifiers for like he's coming, and then there are the metal hits that we use whenever he's sort of like attacking. Then there's like a 3-note horn line that we use a few times when he's like really in action. But we wanted to keep it because he is not human, and the other characters for the most part are, or at least have human tendencies. Like he didn't he didn't not I don't know, he didn't deserve a human theme because he's such he needed a more robotic, like
very atonal.
Yeah.
But I like that you guys came in, because the audience might not know that, you know, but subconsciously they'll
Mhm.
pick up on the fact that, you know, that's happening there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the themes I really like that I don't think it's talked enough about is the traveling in time theme, where you've just got like this, it almost sounds like a bell, or
Okay.
taking like a fork, and you're just hearing this. Oh, there it is.
Top
Is
of
this what it
top
is?
of-
That's what it is.
Top of a candle holder.
I thought it's something like that. Yeah, it's like
And the other
it
bell.
just.
Oh yeah. We also have this bell that we used. These are just like tongue bells.
Wow.
So a lot of that.
Yeah. A lot of sampling those, running them through like a crystallizer,
Yeah.
Soundtoys crystallizer, which made it much more swirly and washed out.
Yeah, a great reference that Madsen brought up was the score to Brick. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Yeah, yeah, I know the film.
Love that
Great film.
score. And it has a ton of melodic bells, and that was a big inspiration.
It does.
And it was
I
like
know
this
think
felt
about it.
like
Yeah.
a moment where we could really do something different, because a lot of the score,
Yeah.
it can be really moody. It can feel like everything's really weighing on you, and this just kind of lifts us up, and it became a really good sonic palette for any time they're talking about time travel. There are other
Yeah.
moments in the film, or in the series, where time travel comes up, and a lot of times where it was appropriate, you can hear a
Yeah.
little like swell of these bells, and
Yeah.
exactly.
So what made you guys decide on using bells to come up with that? Because I think it highlights everything, because now she's alone. She's just witnessed her friends supposedly all dead.
Mhm.
And now she's in a new time period, and she's erased the clock, and you're hearing just this distorted, you know, it just is like, all I kept feeling is like alone. She's
Yeah.
it's distorted. What made you decide on bells, or, you know, the candle holder?
I think that's, you know, a testament to direction from Madsen, of just like, check out Brick. I think this like scene from Brick is
Okay.
like kind of the vibe that could be cool. And then just, you know, a late night experimenting with bells
Yeah.
and piano and other synths, and yeah, you know, just like trying something out. Um,
Yeah.
but it was nice to use, like, we still affected it quite a bit, but it was nice to use bells in a slightly more organic way, because a lot of Kokoro, a lot of scenes with Kokoro I use those tongue bells on a lot of that, and filtered
Right.
heavily with different pedals and distortion stuff. Uh, so like you have two versions of the bells, the the AI version,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then this was an opportunity to bring it back, but in a more natural way.
Yeah, because I don't know, that one just stands out so much to me, because it's such a change from what we've heard in the series
Yeah.
up to that point. And that's what I really like about this score, is it's like it's not just relying on the same thing. It's you're going for something there. I mean, it's bold. I mean,
Yeah.
you could have just gone for this, you know, very determined score thing, and it would be like, but that's what really stands out to me, is just the complexity of the music, and just the different sounds. Talk a little bit about Choose and how you guys came to that.
God.
Yeah, I'll talk.
Do you want?
Okay.
Okay.
No. You know, I've been talking a lot. You can talk. You can say.
No, but this sort of started with you.
Well, so back when we were
Oh my
doing
God. Sorry, I forgot this.
episode 1, they were like,
Mm.
"Can you?" I hadn't even gotten the kick, but they were like,
Oh,
"Can
yeah.
you? Can you create like a bunch of other music that we can like sprinkle in later for temp music later or something?"
They were working on episodes like 2 and 3, and we were
Yeah.
still on
Mhm.
1, and they were like, "We would love you to write us some temp music so that we can animate to it." And we were like, "'Kay, hope we get the gig."
Funny enough, they never
Yeah.
even did that. We never got temp music since. It was
But
all this
maybe
stuff
they
anyway.
probably
So
worked on it though.
maybe.
Like,
But so we had this whole other group of songs. A lot of the character themes came from
Yeah.
this this push, and in it was this was a potential Terminator theme. When we first wrote it, we thought that this could maybe be like the theme. It wasn't,
Mm.
and it wouldn't have been good for it. But we had this idea that was like half baked, but it had like all the elements that you hear and choose. And we were working on the last episode, and we're like, wow, we still haven't used this one idea. And we were watching this scene, the death scene, and oftentimes, sometimes you get lucky when you just throw things in. And we were like,
Yeah.
okay, let's use this theme, and then it can be a theme that we can carry out through other seasons. And we just dropped it in, and it just took off. And we obviously
From there, we
changed it and made it way
Yeah.
cooler, and we brought in the choir element, which was like really awesome. That was one of, I think, my favorite choir moments.
Yeah. I think I have a video of us in the at Air Studios, like that
Mm.
happening and us all listening to it. And it was one of those moments that, like, we'd written these choir parts, and I usually will sing them in as my voice, so it's like a bunch of my voice stacked.
Mm.
And they were really dissonant and they were weird. But like getting in and hearing it with the choir, like it's like this pulsing, dissonant,
Yeah.
crazy chords that hit really, really hard. And it was like a very intense experience to just be in this like iconic studio and hear them, like this like wall of sound coming out of just 8 singers. It was
Yeah.
very cool.
Very cool. And then
Just surreal moment,
Yeah.
like probably what Beethoven felt when he discovered the Ninth Symphony.
Right.
Just like, wow,
Exactly that.
the
Yeah.
voice of God. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.